Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another Let's Talk edition of the DC Current. I'm your host, Damon Caskey. It has been a while since I've done one of these, and as you can see, this one isn't really for public consumption either. It is for a class, specifically ICT305, Section 001, a Project 3 reflection video. The final project of the final class I need before moving on to graduate work. So, yay for me. The both of you who follow my YouTube channel, I guess, can send me a congratulations letter. Anyway, before I move any farther, if it isn't obvious already, I want it to be known, even though it goes against the rubric, that I'm doing this entirely off the cuff and not from a script. Now, the reason for that is I've been doing these vlogs for a long time. It's just the way that I work. I'm not going to change now, even if it costs me a point or two. I believe that you get more genuine answers when you speak directly as opposed to writing things down first. And just because you're improvising does not mean you're being non-professional. Now, that all said, let's jump into actually answering these questions. We're going to tackle them one at a time. So our first horse is, how did your experience with Ifixit inform your decision-making process for working with a team to create guides for your specific audience? What was the best data source to address this challenge? So the following is going to seem very, I guess, snide or arrogant, and I don't mean it like that. I'm just being very matter of fact. I'm in a unique position because I came to this class not only as a non-traditional with a lot of real-life experience already, but real-life experience specifically tailored to what we were doing. I have been an information technology professional for many years. Don't want to say exactly how many because I don't want to date myself too much. And part of that is creating Fixit logs, Fixit guides. And I also do that as a hobby. So everything that we went over and that we worked with so far as the process is concerned, I pretty much was already familiar with, right down to getting the best lighting for photographs and the angles for telling a story. That said, it was still a confirmation, so I guess you could look at it as, cart before the horse. First you get the experience and then you go back and get the education for the fine print. Now, so far as working with teams goes, I hate working with teams, always have, always will. I don't think I'm unique in that position, but it is something that we have to do. You have to do it for class, you have to do it for work, and sometimes you even have to do it for hobbies or personal interest. So when it comes to that, again, previous experience came into play, and it was pretty much perfectly coincided with what we were learning during the Ifixit process. So really nothing new there. I guess as far as the best tool goes, and notice I said tool, not data source. We didn't really use a data source. We just relied on each other's experience because my companions were also had some previous information technology experience and guide experience. Anyway, back to the tool was Discord. I'm not a big fan of Discord, but it did serve the purpose of keeping us in touch. And I have to say, I want to throw a little bit of kudos to my group members here. They watched my back and I watched theirs. For instance, there were several occasions where one or the other of us was not available for class. And during that time, we used Discord to keep abreast of what was going on and let the others know everything that was needed in class. And because of that, we were not only able to stay with the curve, but well ahead of the curve, usually a week or two ahead of the tasks that were assigned to us. I do believe that answers question 1. So let us move on to number 2. What were some of the strengths and weaknesses of the project? Well, the obvious strength is that it was a real-life project. Now, again, I've said many times that I wasn't a particular fan of performing an Ifixit project. I would have rather preferred to write, oddly enough, and I know I'm kind of unique in that particular opinion, or I guess work more on researching data. But the Ifixit, again, was a very strong real-world experience. And I think considering the audience this class is geared towards, it was a very good choice. I don't know of any particular strengths that I would assign to it because, again, it's just creating a how-to guide. I suppose if I had to get really granular, just the fact that whenever there was an issue, the Ifixit people were very responsive and they were very particular about what they wanted. They didn't give you any just vague nomenclature. We want you to tell a story, and didn't tell you how to tell a story. They were very, very specific. So that was a strong point. Now, so far as weaknesses go, well, the iFixit people do not have a crystal ball. So sometimes you wound up with situations where they would assume that you have missed a particular detail when in fact the story you were trying to tell was not going to coalesce until they saw the entire finished project. Now, to give you an example, we had a couple of correspondences, if you will, about this particular photograph. Ifixit was worried that the background was darkened too much to see the detail other than the washer that is highlighted. What we had to make clear to them was that was an intentional process. This photograph was taken with lighting, and we actually took quite a while to do so, specifically meant to highlight that washer while washing out everything else that was in the photo, because, well, we wanted this to be the only detail the user's eyes were drawn to. So that's not a big problem. I mean, once we explained that to them, then they accepted the photo and in fact praised our work on it. But it's just something that you might want to watch out for if you're in this class, is to be prepared with an explanation. If you intend to do something that goes off the rails in any way, shape, or form, you better be ready to back it up with iFixit, or else you're going to be sent back to do retakes. And, well, obviously that's not a whole lot of fun and can hold up your project. Now, number 3, what advice would you give future students taking the course? What would you do differently if you had the chance? So far as advice goes, I would say by all means, seek out Dr. Kaufman if you can. She was a fantastic resource. I can't speak for any other instructors that might be giving out this class, but I can sing her praises. She was available at all times. She was able to provide details. She worked with Ifixit. She worked with students, and she was very accommodating and very knowledgeable about the subject. Again, I really can't say enough nice things about the instructor. Now, as far as the curriculum goes, not a fan. I didn't like the fact that we were doing a Fix-It project or a guide project for another entity that has nothing to do with us whatsoever, or anything to do with the university for that matter. I would have much preferred that we could choose our own technology. And to be perfectly honest, maybe I didn't read the fine print, but I really failed to see what, if anything, this had to do with being a data detective, which to me implies information awareness. So I guess outside of a vocational standpoint, I really just didn't see the point of what we were working on. So if I could do something different, it would be, frankly, to not take the class, to find something else that would fill the requirement. Again, this doesn't reflect on the instruction because I thought that was fantastic. Just didn't really care for the curriculum, and that is my personal opinion. If you like hands-on vocational training and you like putting that vocational training to use as a potential information technology professional, or as a potential writer, or as a potential even graphic design artist, then I would suggest that you take this class post-haste. The audience members are our future 305 students and me, the instructor. Okay, well, I thought maybe that had a little bit of outro on there. So since there isn't an outro, I'll just provide one real quick. Again, my perspective is not your perspective. I can only tell you what I know. You will need to do some research, and I suggest you look at some of the other videos that are being posted by other members of this class, mix them all together, stir in a little bit of information awareness of your own, and talk to Dr. Kaufman. That will be the best decision-making process I can give you, and from there, I wish you the best of luck in future endeavors. Everyone, this is Damon Caskey signing out. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.